Let's do some bread. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Live Healthy, Look Good. In this video, which is unforeseen because I thought I was going to speak about minerals and vitamins and micronutrients, but I thought let's do some recipes instead, something that I eat, even because this video was inspired by I would say the recipe by one of my favorite YouTubers, Stefano. He is an Italian nutritionist and he has an Italian channel, which I'm of course not going to mention because unless you speak Italian you wouldn't find anything useful in there. He knows a lot of things about nutrition, much more than me. In that video he was speaking about using the wholemeal flour to make bread, just stone ground, and also to make the natural yeast completely made out of wholemeal stone ground flour. I always knew that it was very difficult to let it raise, but I wanted to give it a try, so I have mixed some stone ground wholemeal flour with my natural yeast, which is this one. Then maybe one day I'll explain how to do it. That's made with white flours, and I got this one, which is instead made almost entirely with the wholemeal flour. I want to show you the bubbles inside to show you that it's raising. You see, this the raising, the browning. I'm not sure if this is the right word, but the problem is it doesn't work really well because I believe unlike white flours, which are really refined and light, the wholemeal one is a little heavier and therefore it's difficult to make it raise, you know, with just the air of the bacteria inside. Then you also need a high proteins flour so that when the bubbles create, they would just keep the air inside, because proteins they keep things together, so they just create these wires that don't separate easily. So I bought this flour, which is an English flour. It's a strong wholemeal bread with well, allegedly it's a bio wheat. Sorry, it's been stone ground just once, so it should contain all the micronutrients and the fiber that wheat has in nature, and the white one doesn't have anymore. I then add some linseed and walnuts, first because I like them, and secondly because they contain omega-3, which are essential fats that we have seen in other videos, which I'm linking in the corner top right of this video. And yes, I've replaced these kind of omega-3 sources with the fish that I try not to eat as much as I used to. And I have this bread during my breakfast. So in this video I'm going to show you how to make this bread that you can toast in the toaster. The procedure is very simple, but the problem is the raising time, which is unknown, because this natural wholemeal yeast has been mixed, as I explained, with the white one, and the more I mix it, the less white flour I have, and the slower it is to raise. And therefore I just chosen this way because I would have otherwise had to create a completely new one, natural yeast, which takes weeks and it's pain to be done. So I've been just mixing. I took the shortcut to using the white one and just refreshing it, so just halving it and throwing away a half of it and adding some stone ground wholemeal flour. Because this yeast needs to be refreshed, Every time I refresh it, I add some wholemeal flour, and then I get rid of some of the white remaining there, which is convenient, and it's practically now almost entirely wholemeal bread. White one is no longer there. If you refresh it, one half, usually you can throw it away, or you can use it to bake, which is what I'm going to do in this video. Then you feed the remaining one with some new flour and water, so that you feed basically the bacteria inside of it and keep them about in the same amount. Now I'm going to do it in the kneading machine, but if you don't have one and you have the Thermomix or Bimby, whatever name you give it to it, you can do it as well. You can also do it with your hands if you want. But now let's see. Okay, I've got here my natural yeast, which smells a little acid like every yeast. Now I have to put 180 grams of this in the kneader. There it is. Now I'm going to add 200 grams of water. You can put some warm water, not hot. It should be probably as warm as your hands are. We need to go 380 like this, more or less. And then I'm going to add the flour, which is 350 grams, because I pretend the natural yeast is 150 grams of flour, even though it's not true. But anyway, 350. And don't forget, it needs to be a stoneground wholemeal flour, because that's the one that keeps the most nutrients. And there it is. Here we are with 350 grams. Now we will add the line seeds, 50 grams, which is, since it's the third time and these are 150 grams bagged, this should be the whole bag. Let's see. Wow, nearly there. Should go to 400 to me. Yeah, maybe it's just because I need to touch the scaler a little bit. Yeah, let's see. Let me just try to squeeze the bag. I want to see 400 in there. Let me just try. Yeah, it is correct. They weren't cheating. And then 25 grams of walnuts. I buy these ones, which are already without the shell, because I don't find them with the shell. So yeah, but they have no salt, nothing. And then we just put it in the kneading machine and turn it on like this. Okay, after 5-10 minutes it's done, and now I will show you how I work this one. It's a really simple one. So this is the dough. It's a little hard, it's not very soft. You don't need to put too much water in it because it doesn't really make any difference. That's a cubic tray with some baking paper in it, where it's going to go the dough, is going to go, and there's the yeast that I haven't used because now it needs to be refreshed with some more flour and water, and will become even purer, so even less white flour, but I think it's already gone now. By the way, how I do work the dough. So you need to take it from the longer side, and with your fingers you need to touch one side, and with the palm of your hand you need to press, and then just push and roll back with your palm by closing itself on itself this way. Okay, now this is a very easy dough because it doesn't need any resting. It's like using clay. Usually if it was a different kind of bread, I would let it rest for 30 minutes immediately after kneading, and then I would touch it again. But this one doesn't need to be any elastic, so that's fine. It's a very easy one to be worked. The only problem is letting it raise. Then I just hit the sides so that it becomes as cylindrical as possible, even though it will never be. Unfortunately, this video is coming out a little blurry, which I'm just noticing now that I'm dubbing. But yep, I'm going to fix it very quickly. So this is the way you work the dough. Okay, so I've fixed the blurry video. I just turned on the light because I think that was a problem. So this is how it looks like once you put it in the tray. Now all we have to do is literally putting it somewhere to rest. I put it in the oven. I don't know for how long, so you will have to figure out. You would like it to be as double as much, but you shouldn't expect it to go as double as much because of this flour and this yeast. If it was a dried yeast, it would raise up to this height. Let me show you better. Yeah, anyway, over the tray, about this height. Let me show you even better. Yeah, like this. Okay, like this compared to the side. But this one won't even reach the edge of the tray. So, well, it's not gonna be a problem because it's going to be raised enough. I'm going to slice it and then I toast it before I eat it. So I really don't mind. But anyway, it will raise and it will not be raw. So I mean, it will cook, it will bake properly. I would just leave it in the oven to raise, so the oven off, as long as it's needed. And if you have an electric one with the light bulb on, you can leave the light bulb on so that it keeps a different temperature. You may also leave it all night long if you want, and then just turn it on in the morning as soon as you wake up, which may be an idea if you don't have time. And here we are after about 7 hours raising. If you see zucchini and some other things in here, it's because I'm going to do another video on how I bake pizza. But you can see now it's raised a little bit. I can't really show you much more, but it got up a little bit. And the further I refresh this yeast, and the least it raises. But anyway, I'm going to bake it now, and I believe in the oven it will swell a little bit more, so it will raise a little bit more, so which is going to be the last breath of the bacteria before they die. And this is the utmost healthy bread that you can have. Now I'm going to put it at 180 to 100 degrees in the oven, and I'm going to just switch its rotation every 18 minutes, so twice. One side 18 minutes, the other side 18 minutes. I'm going to show you now what I mean when I say sides. So one side this direction and then 18 minutes in this direction. Clear? I hope so. It's going to be 36 minutes in total. It also depends on how humid it's outside, or if it's windy, if it's raining. You should bake a little longer, a little shorter. It really depends on your oven and the weather, but you don't have to be that picky. You will see your own baking with your own oven because you never know, unfortunately. But anyway, I'm going to bake it. And here we are, still hot because it's just out of the oven. As I foresaw, it raised a little bit more in the oven. It's been 36 minutes, as I said. And don't do this, it's very hot. I'm just crazy. Yeah, I know. And there it is. I'm going to burn my hands for you guys and girls. This is really well. So as you can see, it's brown. There are shadows. They are shadows of the trees outside because I'm exactly in front of the window, and I'm burning my hands. This is the bread. It sounds very well. It sounds as it's baked. I'm not cutting it because I'm going to put it in the fridge later when it's cold, because I'm going to use it during the week. Of course, I can't do this bread every day because it takes ages, as you have noticed. But I have a sample for you to see of the previous loaf that I made. And you can see that there are bubbles, so it raises and it cooks properly. It's not raw. I don't expect anything more from a wholemeal bread, to be honest. And here we are at the end of this process. Apologies for the light variations, but there is a lot of wind and it moves the trees in front of my window, which makes shadows that go and come back. But anyway, what I wanted to say about this bread very quickly. First, 100% wholemeal flour, no chemical yeasts, so it's a natural yeast made with flour and water and air bacteria, really. This is the healthiest bread you can have, because the white flours, they are refined so much that during the refinement they lose all their fibers and they lose a big deal of minerals and vitamins. This fiber, they would slow down your metabolism, the way carbohydrates are absorbed in your organism, and therefore they would slow down, they will diminish the production of insulin that you will need to move all these carbohydrates, which are sugars, from your bloodstream into your muscles and liver, or to turn them into fat, as I explained in other videos which I invite you to watch. So if you have a low glycemic load, you will reduce the insulin production, which of course will help your cardiovascular system, which I invite you to watch a video about, which is here. And by the way, eating white flours is like eating sugars with a spoon. The only difference is that sugar is sweet. So, very well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more recipes, healthy recipes about like this, you can leave a comment down there, a like to the video. Please subscribe to my channel, I'm going to do more. One last thing I was about to forget to tell you, and then, even if this bread doesn't raise a lot, I'm sure there are ways to improve this process by adding more yeast and less flour, but I really don't care. I mean, that's fine for me because it cooks well, and therefore it's just fine, you know. Oh, but you can try, and if you have any improvements, I will be happy to hear your feedback. Well, what else should I tell you? Nothing. Let's see you in another video. Bye bye.